You're on.
Power is on for everybody. I'd like to call the Board of Selectmen's meeting to order for Tuesday, March 13th. Happy winter and happy voting day.
Gentlemen.
Can we all stand in honor of America by saluting the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now you should shut the door.
Put that sign on the outside of the door, please. Yeah. Thank you.
Our first order of business is public input. Your hand is up first.
Gentlemen, yesterday the trustees of the library held a work session to discuss the situation with the warrant article tomorrow night, and we voted unanimously in support of tabling what is now going to appear on the ballot as Article 4, but it's really Article 3, the first thing that's going to have to be voted on. The reasons that we did were because of, well, there were myriad of reasons, but the fact that lack of the bond hearing, was it going to be a legal vote, was going to have to be undertaken to have a later vote, the number of participants, ballots are going to have to be cast for that, and it was just the level of confusion was too much, we felt, for the public to deal with in the short term. If we had more time to talk about it, perhaps our theory would have been different, but this is our feeling. The $64 question is, who should make the motion to table? Should it come from the selectmen, or should it come from perhaps one of the trustees?
What are your thoughts?
Well, we didn't open the can of worms. I mean, we're trying to deal with it as best we can. If you tell us, it's up to us to do, then obviously we're going to have to put some kind of narrative together today and tomorrow to explain to people how we got into this pickle in the first place. If you want to do it, that's fine. I don't think there's going to be a lot of debate on the subject, but in the same token, I want to make sure that somebody's prepared to tell people how we got to this point at the meeting. So.
And I can't see that being anyone other than the selectmen.
And we will.
That's my feeling. I don't know.
Is it the selectman to give the narrative, or do we ask him to give the narrative?
I think we need to.
I think it's our narrative.
Yeah. It should be our motion and our narrative and our
Okay.
Issue, sure.
Then we will work accordingly. Thank you. That's all I need to say.
I have a question. Is it okay to, in your opinion, to proceed on the Article 3?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. We stand for that, speak to that, and support that, because that's an important portion for us to move forward in the future, is to unlock those dollars for the plan that we were ready to proceed with. So, definitely.
Were there any other hands that were up? Go ahead.
I have two things. First, I think that it would help people understand, because it is a confusing issue, and it is going to be difficult to convey to them why it is that it's, the article's on the warrant, but we can't act on it. I think it would be helpful if there were some actual accountability. So somebody made a mistake, and people can understand when people make mistakes. What people don't understand is vague general statements and nobody's responsible. So I would suggest that there's some actual responsibility taking. And second, I have a concern about Durgan Road. The last couple times that we had snow and it was plowed, the plows, and probably not intentionally, plowed a little bit too much to the right when you're coming from the corner towards my house on that curve right there. And what's happening is that people are driving off the edge of the pavement onto the shoulder. And there's a pretty sizable ditch right there as well. So I'm concerned both that it's damaging the pavement, which is actually new last year, and also that people are going to eventually end up in the ditch right there. So if you could convey that to Jim Bean, please.
Did I see any other hands up? Okay, thank you. We'll start with department updates. Christie?
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm happy to report that contrary to, I don't know what to call it, but circulation is way up this year, as it was last year, over the year before, and the year before that. So there's no problem with circulation at the library. As you can see on the statistics side, on the circulation side down at the bottom, we are now getting results from the two databases that were, that data was lost in last year, that we weren't able to count, Ancestry.com and Heritage Quest, and those are sizable numbers. So that's the good news. And there's more good news on the other side. Let's see, we got 17 new patrons last month. 11 of those were newborns from 2017. Only 10 of those were actually in the Vital Statistics Registry, because not everyone is required, well, no one is required to register births with the town clerk. So there may be more than 11 newborns from 2017. If anybody knows of one or two, please let us know so that the Friends can purchase a book in their honor as well. Let's see, what else? Casual users are pretty steady. We were closed for a day in February because of snow, and it was a short month anyway, so we didn't have that many open days or hours. That's about it. We have in the fundraising area, we now have over $216,000 in pledges, over $305,000 in cash, and of course in the town capital reserve there is about $417,000. This leaves us with right now $975,000 plus to raise. So we're under $1 million, and the Capital Campaign Committee is committed to continuing to fundraise throughout the year so that we can reduce that amount even more before town meeting next year. And I think that's pretty much my summary. We had a great program, laughter program, March 3rd. We all laughed a lot. The meeting room was jammed. And Vicki Zimmerscheid made an absolutely splendid lunch. It was beautiful to look at and delicious to eat. We're very grateful for her help. Coming up not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 24th, is the March Book and Author Lunch with David Leusser, L-E-U-S-E-R. He's a professor at Plymouth State, and he has written a book about the book walk at the castle, full of old stereopticon views and photographs and postcards. That will be a slideshow on the history of the Brook Walk, and I know that's a favorite walk for a lot of people in town, so I hope we'll have a good crowd for that. Of course, it's by ticket only, because we don't have enough room in the meeting room otherwise. So that's what's coming up this month.
Any questions? Well, thank you for coming out at the beginning of the storm.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna go home. Okay, thank you. Appreciate your efforts.
Okay. See you tomorrow night.
Yes.
Either.
You're gonna go vote?
Yeah, well, they're going
Or
into
open the
general.
library?
All right. Thanks, Christie.
Yep.
We'll review the minutes for March 5th. First item is the Selectmen's meeting at 8:30 a.m. Monday, March 5th. I have nothing to change.
I've got a couple of items toward the bottom of page 2. It's the third paragraph up at the bottom. Selectmen Albee spoke about New Hampshire Electric's 2017 abatement application, and it's actually New Hampshire Electric Co-ops. So, abatement application. And then
Is there a change that you want there?
I'm going
Add
to
co-op.
insert the word co-op.
Okay.
Yep. And then in the final line of that page, Selectman Markuson will write the Selectmen's article for the spring edition, not just, we're not writing the whole spring edition of the Tufton Grove Times.
Really?
So,
I think it's
hmm?
fine.
Yep.
Fine.
So those are two items that I have.
Well, I'll move approval as modified.
Okay?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. We have non-public meeting minutes. Two of them.
Two.
Yes, one is for 8:30 a.m.
Got that one.
That was Clay's evaluation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the other one is,
I will move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. The other one is for 11 a.m. Karen's,
Karen's evaluation.
you want my copy?
No, I read.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Okay. Signature file. The first item is the signing for the auditor for the year 2018. Have you folks read this?
Yep. I have.
Okay.
That's just one signature.
Yes.
I will move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Today's the 13th. The second item is the paving assessment contract from David Jeffers and Jeff Hayes at Lakes Region Planning. This is having the paving assessment done for all town roads. You reviewed this,
I have.
I have you as well.
Okay.
So I'll move approval.
and
Second?
now under discussion, what is the amount for the record?
I believe it's $6,500. No, that was the number that was discussed before.
That page. Right here.
$6,500.
Okay. Do I fill this out? There's no sticker there. Or do I let them fill it out when they sign it?
I would put the date, put today's date in there before you sign it. And they'll countersign.
Next item is the free blue bags. They'll be available early April. A note from Karen, please advise which selectmen will pick up the bags on and on what date in April. The event date will probably not be until 4/21/18. Please fill this in and sign the attached page, Karen. This is the registration form. Okay to sign it?
Yeah, I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. And
Motion passes 3-0.
And I'll be happy to pick them up,
Okay.
and I'll coordinate with NRA on
Yep.
what it is.
That's it for signature file. Selectmen's update. Any updates from board?
I have a couple of items. I will be meeting with New Hampshire Electric Co-op on Friday morning, along with Doug Smith regarding the low moderate income solar project proposal, with the objective of negotiating with them a potential purchase power agreement and changing the rate structure for the central fire station. That's my update.
Okay, anything else?
I know that a question's going to arise about the payment of the leases for the fire truck and ambulance, the continuing payments of $89,317. So I had the office give me a copy of the original lease that was signed. At some point, I guess we have to have a discussion about whose decision it was to combine them. I know the reason behind it was the rate of interest would be lower if we combined them into one lease as opposed to two separate leases. But I'm sure you took a vote, I just didn't. I couldn't
It
find
was approved by the board, but
Can research that.
Yeah, and the other issue that came up was comp time for employees. And I just want to make sure we're all clear on how we're going to use that, because our employees seem to think that they have to use the comp time within the week that it was earned, which makes it kind of untenable. Because if you earn the comp time on a Friday, you're not going to do it in that same pay period. According to the regulation, if you will, voted on, and
Is this the policy mail?
yeah, it's try to, hold on, look at it. Attempt to use the comp time within that week. I see it. I had it here somewhere. At any rate, the policy that I was reading earlier this morning, which I can't seem to find, says, to attempt to use it within the pay period that you accumulated, but it doesn't mandate it. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page on that, because I had asked Diane to get some stuff ready for tomorrow night's meeting,
Yes.
and she was concerned that she was going to go over her hours, and we're not going to get into an overtime situation anyway, because it's not going to take her 5 hours to do it.
Exactly.
But I'd rather utilize comp time
Sure.
and not be constrained to, she can take her comp time in June, I don't care,
Right.
but this is a busy time of year.
yeah.
She wants to get anyway.
Well, it would seem to me that the benefit to keeping it relatively contemporaneous is then you're not losing track of it.
Right.
But I don't see any reason that it's like you got to have it within the same pay period.
And don't have a computerized payroll system, but we probably at some juncture, at some point in the future, should think about that.
Yep.
Makes it easier to track. That's it for me.
I have nothing. Let's move on to correspondence. We have correspondence from Chris Fournier at HEB that there was one bid for Sodom Road Bridge from RM Piper for $67,000. You folks reviewed the paperwork.
I have.
I have.
His recommendation is that this amount, with all the other added costs, is so close to the amount currently on the warrant article. He says, I may suggest keeping Article 15 as it is to avoid confusion. Is that the wishes of the board?
If I remember looking at the email correspondence, he included in that the $6,500 that I believe we've already paid out of
Right, that's
the
in the
operating
budget.
account.
Right.
So if we, I don't think we want to count it twice. So if you add the construction administration cost of $8,000 to the 67, that brings us to 75.
Right, and we're asking for 89, I think.
And I think 88 or 89 is what's on the article, so my opinion is that we lower it to 75. And that bid includes $20,000 worth of contingency for stuff that comes up along the way, so
So you want to amend that up on the floor?
yes, that would be my recommendation, that we amend the article on the floor tomorrow to $75,000.
I have the copy of the warrant here. One of the things we need to do this afternoon is to go over which person talks about
Yep.
which warrant article. Okay?
Yep,
And we'll let you talk about this one.
all right.
This is.
So should we vote on that?
Yep. I move that we approve the award of the contract to RM Piper as the low and only bidder on the project, contingent on successful outcome at town meeting tomorrow. And that we reduce the amount on Article 15 to $75,000 on the floor at the meeting tomorrow.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is a note from Karen. It says, as this intent to cut was received before the deadline of April 1st, please make a motion to accept this request for the extension to cut for operation on lot 17-455-16T. Have you folks read the request?
Yep.
Is there a motion?
I'll move that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. There's other correspondence here that you folks have gone through. Any other correspondence you're aware of? We have Jack coming in at 10:30. We have a non-public. We're down to other business. Anything from the board?
Is the non-public was for an interview on the Parks and Rec.
Yes.
And that
That
person's
is,
not gonna.
that's not gonna happen today, but remember we said we were gonna have a non-public also to work on, performance reviews.
Oh, performance
So
reviews.
we can do that
Sure.
at that time.
So that's gonna change the agenda to performance.
Yep.
We're moving right along. Any other business from the floor?
I have a
Hi
question.
there, how you doing?
Are we voting on the library tomorrow night?
No,
We're not.
no.
There's been a recommendation to table it.
Okay. And what does that mean? Does that mean that it will be taken, the article will be taken off the floor? Or there will be a motion to table it? And if it is tabled, what does that mean?
It'll be brought up next year at the next meeting, right? Next town
Or,
meeting.
yeah,
Okay.
I think it's removed from consideration is what we're looking for. So
Okay.
we'll create a new warrant article
Next year?
next year.
Okay.
So it will just, not be,
All right. I heard a rumor to that and just wanted to come to the source
Sure.
and double check it.
Yep. Go ahead, sir.
Couple of items have come up when the bids were submitted much lower than what the selectmen had anticipated. And I'm glad that the selectmen anticipated on the high end to cover the bases, but I'm very pleased to see that our bids are coming in a little lower on a couple of those. That gives me a lot more faith in the general public, I guess I'll say.
well, when we're estimating, it's always better to estimate high.
Absolutely,
And then you bid it out, and it's easier to adjust down than it is to adjust up.
always.
Go ahead.
How many non-publics are you gonna have today?
One.
I can't do my work over here when I plan to if you're gonna stop and start, because I'm not gonna be here. So, doesn't make a difference, I'm just asking you.
Yes.
If you don't have to have a non-public, you don't have to have one. But
We're
I'm asking
we're
a
here,
question.
we're here all day today.
I
Okay,
understand
so
that.
while we're here, we're gonna have a non-public to work on employee performance evaluations.
Okay, and at what point of the day are you like to have that?
We have it scheduled for 10:30.
10:30?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So-
at 11 o'clock, we have an appointment with the police chief to go over parking and docking ordinance review, but that's public.
Okay. And I explained my intention before was if I wasn't here, we were just gonna record it, but you can't keep turning it on and off, okay? So, I guess that's off the table for today.
What?
So,
Cameron,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
thank you.
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
so we're gonna suspend the meeting until, or you wanna do the non-public now?
If you want to do the non-public now, we're flexible.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
And then we have, we've got Jack is coming in later,
Yes,
and Andy's coming in later.
yes.
To a couple of public things. All right. So I will move that we go into non-public for per 91A-3, Roman 2, subpara A to conduct employee performance evaluation.
Is there
I'll second.
a roll call? Wood, yes.
Marcus, yes?
I'll be yes.
Motion passes 3-0.